Good morning. I'm Victoria, Victorious Wool, and I live on an island in the Puget Sound in Washington State, very close to Seattle. And it's August. It's August 9th today, and it's kind of cloudy outside. We're supposed to get 90-degree weather this week in a couple days, and so this feels like kind of nice to have a reprieve in the heat before we go back up. So it's probably 60 something degrees Fahrenheit right now. So I am layered up. I'm wearing a shawl that I designed that hasn't come out yet. It's called Meridian Lines. It's got these double-headed tassels on each corner. It's a big square. Talked about it last week on the podcast, but getting opportunity to wear it. It's a little chilly today. The shawl will go into testing. I think I'll put out the call this week on Instagram and Yarn Pond. If you know what that is, Yarn Pond is a whole website where you can become a tester or you can put your designs up for testing. And that's the whole point of the website. And so it's easier to find people sometimes. I've only used it once, so I'm excited to use it again. Everything happens on the website too, so all the comments and all the discussion and stuff all happens on there. So it's very tidy and nice to run a test there. But I usually do that and also then open a test app for people on Instagram and run that through email. So if you are interested in testing anything of mine in the future or just want to be on my newsletter list for future tests, definitely go to the links below or my profile link in Instagram, and you can sign up for my newsletter. And you can sign up for my newsletter there. I try to write an email at least once a month, maybe twice a month if I'm if I'm on the ball. I didn't write any newsletters in July. I was too busy, but I just sent out a newsletter last week. So usually contains where my current design is in the process, a little behind the scenes of that design process, and then also things like what I'm reading and watching, listening to, eating, or something, the stuff that I'm really interested in is usually there too. So they're really fun to write. I enjoy writing them and enjoy talking to people who are interested in my stuff really directly. So definitely sign up for that. But I have in the past written newsletters about the making of this guy. I talked about it on my podcast last week. But today I wanted to come on and talk about a design that I released, I think it was February, so earlier this year. It's called Floating Blossom. And it's a DK weight crescent shawl that has a bunch of cables in it. I'm kind of cable obsessed. There's a book by Norah Gaughan. I have it probably right here. It might be on another shelf. Usually I keep it there. But called The Knitted Cable Source Book. And it's such a fun book to look through and find actually just combinations of cables to put together. So these main ones, this little, I believe she calls it Weeping Blossom in the book, but it looks like kind of like a weeping willow, right? And it has all these little baubles on the ends, which are super fun to make. And then the middle one is a similar cable, also sort of weeping. And I changed it to floating because it was a little happier. And I haven't been wearing it in the heat, but I'm really looking forward to wearing it again in the fall. I tend to really like tucking my shawls in so that they're not only decorative and pretty, but that they actually have I have a longer neck, so I tend to want to bundle up when I'm outside. And I do spend a lot of time outside in the winter. Probably my favorite detail of this guy is the edge. the border, which has, it's a rib that I then inserted a little, I think 4x4 cables or 2x2 cables in the whole way along. And I really like this. So much so that I totally want to do it again. Maybe on like a deeper rib, but it's really fun. The cables have like the tendency to like pull in, as does ribbing, but after I blocked this, it laid really nice and flat. So I don't know for sure that if I did this deeper, like I could even do a whole shawl that was just straight, like cable rib. That would be really cool. I don't think that it would pull in, depending on the yarn I chose. But yeah, it's just so fun. So that was kind of a little surprise. I didn't know exactly, as I was making this, what I was going to do at the bottom. And then I just sort of thought, oh, well, how about I try this? I did play Yarn Chicken and won. Maybe I would have made the ribbing border deeper if I had more yarn, but I think I had only 4 skeins of this DK. This is Woolly Mammoth Fibre Co. Right? I think it's a Co at the end of her name. She's in Ireland, Northern Ireland, and it's a BFL Masham, so Blueface Leicester and Masham mix that I think she has not all the time in her shop, but pretty consistently. I think she's got both fingering and DK versions of it, but it's really nice yarn. She's a very popular yarn maker, and so her shop updates often sell out, but I really loved working with it and would totally work with it again someday in the future. And this is the peony colorway, just sort of like what I call an adult pink, dirty pink, or mauve sometimes. But yeah, this is really nice and fun yarn to work with. And I did use all 4 skeins that I got. So I had to make do. Doesn't have tassels on it. What a surprise. I didn't have I don't know if I even thought of putting tassels on the end. I think a crescent shape, you can only really put tassels, I guess. You could put them along the whole edge of the hem. But there's only 2 points, so that's probably why I'm like, no, do I want to do that? I love tassels so much. I just found a maker on Instagram. I think her name is Cilicia. I'll have to link to her below. Her Instagram handle I've also forgotten because I just saw it the other day. But she makes really amazing tassels, and I will link to her, and I will show you when I get them. I ordered them; they haven't come yet. When they arrive. Oh, I do know though that they are attached to a couple bags that I have. I got Prickly Owl Co. bags maybe a couple months ago, but these are the tassels I'm talking about. Get my face out of the way. They're just really, really snug and sturdy and so cute. So the rest of the bag looks like this. Stamp. This one has kind of summery camping theme. And then I got a cactus one too. And this cactus one is super cute. With its like green inside. There's orange inside this one too, which is really fun. These are beautiful bags. I think she has a shop date coming this week. I'm going to try to put this podcast up on Friday this week. And I think her update, the Prickly Owl update, is also Friday. Just super tempting to get more. But I love both the bags and the tassels, so it's a really fun thing to get. Anyway, this shawl, I said, I think on the last episode that I, with the meridian lines pattern, I was trying to write a knitting pattern that was a little more simple. and that some of my previous designs aren't difficult. They just don't look easy. And I think this is one of those ones. The floating blossom is deceptively difficult looking. Cables that have like multiple different crosses, you do have to keep track. Like if you don't like charts, I guess that would be challenging. I really like charts. I'm a very visual person. In fact, I rechart other people's patterns when I'm going to follow them so that I make it as easy for myself as possible. I think I've talked about that in last year's, I guess, episodes where I'll just take a pattern and I will break it down or I'll change it or rechart it or whatever it is so that it's easy for me to look at, easy for me to follow. I am a pattern writer, so I know how to do that really well. And I started doing that because I think I have some form of dyslexia. I have never been tested, but I definitely don't track well. I've definitely talked about this before. So it's easier. Things are easier for me if I change the format sometimes, and that I can just go into a word processing program or my charting software, and I can do that for myself really easy. So I feel like the instructions for this kind of thing with cables is broken down pretty well if you can follow the chart. And I try to make the spaces, between cable motifs very clear, got lots of markers to indicate where the cable motifs start and where the cable motifs end. So yeah, there's some keeping track of things on here, but as far as like techniques go that you're actually knitting, all of it's super easy. I even think the bobbles are easy. And I think this may have been the first time I did bobbles. I often go over when I'm looking at it, and I often try to pinch them and like make them come out a little bit more. They get a little bit flattened in the blocking process. These little berries. Anyway, they're just so cute. One of the things I loved about working with this yarn and these stitch patterns is that the cables really stuck. They really stuck out, but not like the yarn isn't a crisp, smooth yarn, but you still get a really nice definition and just a little bit of subtlety, and I really like that. Depending on the light that you do it in, they just look really good. Here we go. I am recording on my phone as well, so sometimes I look at my phone and think, oh yeah, you can see that, but actually the YouTube videos, not getting it as much. And I photographed it in the snow. That was really fun. Those pictures are so beautiful. Yeah, so it's on Ravelry. It would be perfect for the transition. I probably wear it like this the most. When I'm typing on the computer. It's nice to have something keeping my shoulders and my neck a little warm, but I don't have this like big weight on my neck. And then another thing about having a longer neck is that it has to bear all this weight of, heavy shawls and stuff. So I do like wrapping it around my neck, but I also really enjoy wearing it just hanging over. Do that when I'm in bed, when I'm watching something and knitting, when I'm at my desk. So when I'm making meals in the kitchen, it's also nice to have it like this. I mean, it can pull forward and like maybe get into things, but it's not all of it hanging in front of you. So this kind of suits me better. Yeah, I think that's kind of it. I'm trying to think if there was any other fun things, details about it that I could share. I don't think so. But anyway, I will come back on again soon. It'll probably be a little warmer when I record again. So thanks so much for watching. And you can find me on Instagram at Victorious Wool. You can subscribe to this channel so that other people can find these videos. And you can find all my patterns On Ravelry, my username there is also Victorious Wool, and my website is victoriouswool.com. And it's VICTORIOUS, that kind of victorious. Okay, I'll see you later.